Hey guys, it's Nscaler454 and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to try and finish the North Island Refinery by Walthers, obviously N-scale kit. As usual, I have started it already, and this is where I have got so far. So you can see, well, see what you can see, I guess. It's actually been reasonably challenging to kind of put it all together, but not too bad so far. I have weathered this to some degree. I'm sure it's not going to show up very well on camera, but I put some dry powder and some rust look over the metal paint. As you can see, I painted the stack here in a white as well as a metal paint as well. And also I have painted the base a concrete color. So just to go over a couple of paints that I've done. The metal finish right here is Tamiya's bare metal silver. The white is some Rust-Oleum white paint, flat white primer. Well, also works as a primer, I should say. And what else do we have here? We have the concrete, which I just used Model Masters concrete flat. For the weathering, I used Vallejo Pigments Old Rust, which I've used in some other models with good success so far. I've also went over some of the metal with this Vallejo Black Wash, just to try to put some depth into it. Not sure how well I got for a result, but I guess it helped a little bit. And then I have sprayed, get these out. I sprayed the yellow pieces right here. I mean, these do come in a molded plastic, which they look pretty good, but I mean, they still look plastic. So I went over it with the airbrush with Tamiya's lemon yellow. What's interesting, if you paint this on with a brush, it's got a gloss finish. But when I painted it with the airbrush, it has a flat finish. So that's interesting. I'm sure when I have to go over it with some touch-ups, that's probably gonna be a bit of a mix match, but I'll deal with that when the time comes. What else do we got? This big stack right here, again painted in the Rust-Oleum flat white, but I didn't like that new white finish to it, so what I did is I took some of that Vallejo dry or old rust dry powder. I put it on a wet paper towel and I went over this, and it really knocked down that that white finish and gives it a bit of an orange rust look to it. Again, I'm sure it's probably very difficult to see on camera, but these little subtle details, you can definitely see them when in person. Another thing I did was with the concrete, I went over it. I wetted the whole base of it with some water, and then I went over it with the black wash, just to give some texture of some dirt and spills and whatever onto the concrete, so it doesn't look so brand new. So that's where I'm at right now. It's time to put all the pipes and all that stuff all onto this. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is start gluing the pieces of this main stack together, and I think I'll put it on separately rather than trying to glue this on and putting it on after. So that is going to be the plan. Maybe I should put the lower pieces of the piping down on this lower structure here, just so I know exactly where that goes. You can see from the instructions just how, I guess, somewhat confusing and cluttered it is. I also noticed there's a few parts that are in the box that aren't shown on here, so you just got to be careful and figure it out. So I've laid out the piping onto the concrete base just temporarily. There are these little pads all over it, as well as pads on the pipes themselves, so you can match them up. I noticed that they don't line up perfectly. So what I'm gonna do is sand down the ends of the pipe right here so that they match a little better, and then I can glue them down. So I have the ground level of pipes all glued down. I also glued together the railings to the platforms, and now I'm trying to figure out the best way to lay the or put in the stacks, because if you install the stacks at a crooked, they're not going to align correctly with everything else. No, there's a lot of alignment that needs to go on. The stacks need to align with each other, which these platforms need to align with the stacks correctly. The piping needs to align correctly with the ground level as well as this level, and then to each other. And then the platforms are all connected with some ladders, so there's a lot of alignment that needs to kind of be correct for this to look, you know, correctly or look good. So yeah, I'm trying to figure this out, and the instructions, to be honest with you, are pretty bad. You just can't read them correctly. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, but I think those could have been done better. So a lot of this is you're just kind of trying to figure it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on this, and if I figure out a good way, I will let you know at least the best way it worked for me. So I got the stacks put up, and I'll tell you what my strategy was. I put up this stack first, and I connected it down with this pipe to try to get the alignment correct. And then I installed this stack right here, and I did the same. Then I put the middle one in, and I went ahead and installed these platforms down on the bottom because they connect, you know, the three stacks together. That got the alignment pretty close. You have to be quick with that if you decide to go that route, because I recommend getting these in early, because they will set your vertical alignment this way. And then once these are connected, I think you can then go ahead and start kind of getting the rest of it going. So now that this is to this point, at least, I will go ahead and finish adding the rest of these platforms and the rest of the pipes, and I can also get this stack on as well. So let's continue on. So I've got the model all put together. I would definitely say this was the most difficult of the ones I've done so far, mainly because of all the alignment and getting everything to kind of fit together. And because of those things, I think it would be hard to get a model like this perfect, but with some patience, I think you can get it pretty close. The ladders were difficult because, again, the instructions were not very good, but I think I got something that works at least. I'm not certain about the ends here, if these open ends here are for expansion, but I do plan on expanding on this model. I have another kit which we'll get to in a future video, but I definitely want something a little bigger and more unique, and you know, somehow bring in a storage tank. So I guess overall the idea of the refinery is not complete, but I just need to go through this and put some final touches on the weathering, and then I can call this specific model finished. So if you guys liked the video, thumbs up, subscribe if you can, and thanks for watching.